Good morning, YouTube viewers. I just wanted to go over something I've been thinking about, and it's about the 589 and how astronomically infeasible, impossible, incalculatable it seems. It's actually just a trick of math. Now that isn't to say I'm a firm believer of 589 before the end of the year, but I hope this video will show you that it's not out of the realm of possibility. So here, drawing some triangles, some trend lines on a 1 hour chart for XRP USD on Bitfinex. I'm sure all of us have done this. I was once trading on the hourly chart and probably losing money if I remember correctly. Anyway, I then moved on to the 4 hour charts, which was a further step back, and as you see, trend lines are still there, but we might be able to see a larger, I guess it's not a larger pattern, but rather a fractal within a trend line. So basically I did this for quite a long time until I figured out it wasn't working, because if you can't zoom out and see the whole trend, you're most likely going to lose your shirt. So if you zoom out and you incorporate, let's see, even 4 hours isn't small enough. The daily charts is now where I hang out because you can see everything. Bitfinex has chart data all the way back to May of 2017. It's not ideal, but it's what we have to work with, so we work with the tools we're given. And here you can see those small trend lines I had initially. When you zoom out to the long-term chart, they seem very insignificant. And one thing I did forget to show you on the 4 hour, I guess we'll do, is I want to show you this feature here. So down here you just saw me click the auto. That's helpful for basically snapping the, I guess it's the ratio, to make this look a little bit better. So if you're all squished out because you were at the daily as I just was, if you click this auto button, it'll snap it to something that's a little more visual, and it adjusts as you, depending on what's in the screen, it will adjust accordingly automatically, hence auto. If you want to keep it where it is, you either deselect auto or just move this around, and then you're good and you can move it around. Anyway, so this is where the fun part begins, 589. So if you click, it says toggle log scale. If you click this on a 4 hour chart, the only thing that you're going to see that's going to change are these prices here. And it's not a drastic change, it's just these, they are in increments of 2 units, and log toggle, it's still 2, but it's a little bit different. When you're zoomed in this close on a chart, it doesn't have the effect, or it doesn't help you as much as if, and here's where it really helps. We'll do the auto. So if you wanted to draw a trend line here, let's do what gets hit the most. You could start from up here, but that's kind of a, I like to find, when I do my trend lines, everyone obviously does them differently, but when I do mine, I like to see how far back I can go, and in doing so, see if I can find areas of support and resistance. See, this one here was but a wick. You can see right here, when I was doing the 4-hour and 1-hour charts, I didn't really use the wicks that often, but on a daily, you know, it could have spent the whole day down there, but then it snapped back up. So if I take my own suggestion, it would look a little more like that. And we can get rid of these down here. Sorry, I probably should have done this earlier. So that we can look at our trend. Now here's the fun part. On a daily chart, what you see is essentially what all the news channels, what you're basically looking at is a linear chart. And this shows you the drastic, oh my gosh, increase in all-time high, and then a plummet to, you know, consolidation / everyone's crying and, well, no one's happy. Alright, I've prolonged it long enough. Log chart. Obviously this is going to look a little weird because there are some... Oh, I didn't have the auto on. That's why. There we go. Gotta love the auto. Alright, so now you see that trend line. It's almost like it's off base or a little offset. Now if we make, you can see that, I'm not sure what it's called mathematically, but the ratio, something changes. Whereas the up and down, like if you make one of these left and right, it's not going to change because this, I think it's called semi-log, I'm not 100% sure, don't quote me, but I think because one axis is logarithmic and this axis time is not, anything moving left and right, you're not going to get any kind of skewness. If those left and rights are also up and down, as you see with this trend line, that's where basically this is the effective log. So now let's draw some, or let's finish, or rather let's adjust our trend lines. This one, let's see, maybe ish there. It followed when I had this set up before. As I was watching it, it was, and this was, had to have been a few weeks ago, it was literally hugging that line right there. Well, it pokes out of here, but you know, what can you do? No one's perfect. Let's put it, and yes, a lot of this chartista, as Bonavest would say, a lot of it is just, well, artistry. Here's the benefit of, sorry, getting a tangent, of the 589. So here, now that we see this, we can make more trend lines, and I'm just going to do them fast to illustrate a point. And let's make that one a little bit beefier. So, $5.89, I'm getting there, I'm getting there. Alright, this one's a little bit different than Bitstamp, but we can work with it. So here is, we'll change it to weekly so it's even more condensed. Auto isn't going to do anything. I should probably pay for this. Alright, so here we go. This is where 589 seems plausible. Not guaranteed by any means, but plausible. If you extend these would say, very early trend lines. This one only has 2, and it's really just because of the data. If we had more, maybe we could forecast it or whatever it easily. This trend line was broken. This was in the beginning of August, I believe. I was on, or no, mid-August. I was on vacation, and this brought me a lot of joy. But it did break the trend line. So does that make the new line out here? Who knows? We gotta let time pass and see what happens. All right, so 589. Let me mark where 598. So this mark is 588. When you remove the logarithmic function, you miss, I'm not technically sure what I think it's the exponential percentage gain. Essentially, you're not looking at the whole picture, or you're looking at the whole picture in a linear scale. Whereas if you look at the whole picture in a logarithmic scale, it weeds out the largest moves, I guess you could say, or it accounts for the largest moves. It makes them weighted less. I don't know. It helps. Let's just put it that way. I'm certainly going to dive more into this and figure out what it is. I'll put some links in the description that I tried researching to help me understand the benefits of this. But you can see without the log, you see this trend line just goes straight up. This one kind of goes out, and this one, who knows where it's going. But when you look at the prices, you know, if you scroll all the way to 589, that'll take me an hour, this disappears. It just, oh, out of our mind. Well, it's because our mind thinks linearly. If you do it logarithmic, that price move to 589 isn't so far away. It's not that this is going to happen in year end. Let's see, we're about 500 days away. It's not going to happen January. No, that's too. What am I saying? Well, let's try that one again. We're not 500 days away from 2019 because I just went right to 220. We are in Cobb. I should know this because he always says it for XRapid. We're about 100 plus days. 18. Yeah, 119 days from year end. So that would be around here. Could we get to there before then? That would involve breaking this trend line and doing so. Is that possible? It seems more possible looking at the graph this way versus that way. And this, what has helped me understand this more is, I'll show you, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get the right one, is the Bitcoin chart. Because that we have much more, what's it called, much more data on. That's a little note for myself. When it gets up to 30 grand, this chart. Nope. There we go. So this looks like a convolution of smorgasbord confusion, who knows. Here you can see some trend lines spiking off into who knows where. Here's where the magic comes in. Boom. Now, well, I'm going to take the auto off. The auto, this makes the auto go weird. So if you take the auto off, you can now see, and keep in mind this is the weekly. Let me stretch it out a little bit to the daily. It's better to have a perspective in the weekly and daily and stay out of the hourlies. So this is what helped me determine that 589 wasn't too nuts. I got back into Bitcoin initially around here right before it spiked to its 1200, and then I was mining around here, and I thought, oh, it probably would hit down to 100, 200. Sure enough, it comes down here, but that doesn't mean I was buying down here. Truth be told, I literally fell asleep on the market, as I'm sure a lot of other people did, except for these people down here, because each one of these surges is accompanied by some volume. I woke back up, for lack of a better phrase, around, I think it was 28 or 24 to 2800 is when I got back into it. So yeah, take it from someone who's learned. Don't sleep on this. Keep an eye on it. So anyway, here's some prediction slash boring having fun with charts. I'll go back to the weekly. I probably should have stayed there. Auto, no. So here, if the last bull run is mimicked, I averaged out, you know, how long it took it to move, how high it went. Also with this trend line, courtesy of logarithmic function, this, oh gosh, I really do have to pay for it. This trend line is only possible from the logarithmic function. This doesn't exist in the linear. What makes me feel confident about it is this movement right here. That was a duration of, let's say when it started, that was a duration of approximately 553 days. So that, over a year, it slowly and silently chugged away. Then it kind of took off, lifted from the trend line, smack, we got our second, I guess, top resistance. And then now we're in our consolidation for 8-9 months. This is what I think is going to happen. Somewhere in here, i.e. 2019, it's going to sort of bottom out. And that's where I'm going to start making most of my purchases. And also, oh, yeah, this is the other chart I did for XRP. Yes, there's 589. So essentially, I'm going to start, I have been dollar cost averaging, but I'm going to start buying more the closer it gets under, say, 25, 22. That's when I'm going to, as Cobb says, unload the checking account. Alright, where was I? Bitcoin. So here I haven't dollar cost averaged. I've got enough from back here that I'm in the green. I'm not worried about buying at the lowest average price. I'm just going to wait till here, famous last words maybe, I'm going to wait till here, buy, and as I had here, accumulate up to 21,000. Now you may think that sounds weird. Why not just buy it? Why not just buy everything down here at, what is it, 6,000? The key with dollar cost averaging is what's different between the time down here and this, what was it, 500 and some odd days. What's different is the money you have. So down here, you don't have this money. Down here, say you have, you know, an extra $200 a month. Each month goes by, if you put that extra $200 in, you're going to be better off than, you know, trying to find a huge dip, or trying to find, you know, something in the market that makes it seem cheaper relative to the price, to the current price. So dollar cost average all throughout this, you can call this the accumulation period, and that's why I drew that. I mean, I guess it should extend down to here, but this is, go away. This is where you want to accumulate via dollar cost average, because your income you're not going to get all at once. You're going to get paid, and you put a little bit of that into Bitcoin over and over and over again. So my highly uneducated guess is around February 21st, no, February of the year 2021, I'm going to say $200,000. Total guess. Another scenario I see happening is once we hit this spot, come December, January, it's going to go nuts. Oh, whoops. Oh, see, this log function really jams up. This is just to put things in perspective, as you saw with the 589 chart. From here to here, Modern Investor, in his videos, he always mentions 1 million. When you're looking at this chart, 20K, for you to scroll in order to get up to 1 million, you're not going to see any of this information, which is very similar to this trend line. This information, and there's the effect of auto, this you see the trend line. It is then dwarfed by the next all-time high. So this is flat, you barely even see it. It's not even a blip on the radar. The log trends keep that blip, and it helps you forecast the price from now. Linear, you don't get that. So it stands to reason this will soon be just as small, if not smaller, when, see, I can't even go that, well, I guess I can, when something like that occurs, 1 million. So we've seen it before. Here's the 2013 spike to 1200. Here's 20K. It's just going to look the same thing. It's just fractals. That's all it is. The logarithmic option enables you, it's almost like a secret or magic. It enables you to spot these mathematical functions that our linear minds cannot wrap themselves around. So this has certainly helped me put things into perspective. When someone says $1 million Bitcoin, I think to myself, yeah, sure, that's only up here. True, the price from here, let's actually see what that would be. From here to 1 million is, holy cow, 16,289%. But, hey, Bitcoin at one point was an idea. You know, it was worth nothing. And just to reiterate, that's what's going on here. This trend line, I think, is much more, has a lot more respect, I guess, to it. This may only be broken once. You know, we could look years from now and it will forever stay above this trend line. Who knows? This could be the only time it broke down. It's up to the market. We can't tell it what it's going to do. But 589 from current price, based off of what has happened in the past, is not crazy. And sometimes I feel I'm crazy when I say, you know, my look at the brush. My end of year price is, I think I said it, somewhere around 50. And I think I put that on Twitter. Just because that's the highest price point on this trend line intersecting with 2019. That's the only evidence I have that led me to think, I don't want to say believe, because I'm not, I believe XRP and what it's doing. I don't believe it's going to reach $50 by year end. I just think. I have random ideas that lead me to think that's a possibility. So 589 on a log scale isn't really that much higher, but you know, we'll see. Anyway, this has probably gone on a lot longer than it should have. Just a reminder, I was sleeping on this. The XRP tip bot is literally the best thing since sliced bread. I was fortunate enough to have this guy, Bird Dog, and I know we all butcher this name, and hopefully he's going to forgive us all. We got some from Robert Lee and someone else. My plan for this tip bot is to basically get free money and give it out so that I keep getting more free money, if that makes sense. So out of the 5 tips I've received in 4.4 XRP, I've given out 1.9 of it to these 22 people, and it can be let's see, Robert Lee, Bank XRP. It can be people that obviously know about crypto or this. I was looking for information on Twitter. This is going off topic, but she doesn't know what XRP is. It will still be in an account on her Twitter name. So if she signs into the xrptipbot.com website, she will find her 0.0589 XRP in her account. She doesn't even have to log into her account to send it. If I told her, hey lady, you've got this in your account, if you go to any of these people's, anyone on Twitter, if you go to them and you do plus 0.0589 at XRP tip-bot, poof, now they have it. So this is really amazing. Back in 2013, when I was telling people about Bitcoin, this is the kind of thing that I thought would be possible by now. Not to say that Bitcoin's bad and no one likes it, but just the progress and the overwhelming support. It's here. It's here. So yeah, if you want, you can go over to Twitter, follow me. My angle on crypto is that it's money. Hopefully I'm going to get into a little bit of that later, but yeah, so I guess that is it. I've gone on long enough, and now I am back to the digital asset investor most recent video. Goodbye for now.